Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is gerrymandering, and here are your objectives. Please pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab and take some notes. Today you're going to learn about the intersection of geography and the democratic process. And the first thing that you need to understand is the idea of representation. Representation is the process by which certain elected officials, who we call representatives, make decisions for citizens. Take a moment to write this down and think about what it means. Now let's do a quick review of democracy. Democracy means that people get to vote on decisions that affect them. And we have two types of democracy. The first is called direct democracy, and that means that all citizens vote on all decisions. In other words, citizens are voting a lot, and they are actively involved in government. Direct democracy works best in small societies where people live in close proximity so that they can often meet to debate questions and then vote on them. Direct democracy existed in small city-states in ancient Greece, like Athens, but it's not the form of national government of any country today. Instead, most democracies today practice what is called indirect democracy. In an indirect democracy, instead of voting all the time, citizens vote once every 2 or so years to elect people called representatives who will then vote on decisions for the citizens. Indirect democracy is found in large societies like the United States because it allows people to have a say in government without actually having to participate in government all the time. And they don't have to travel to a place like Washington, D.C. all the time in order to discuss issues and vote on them. So, by giving the task of voting to representatives, citizens have free time to pursue other activities like being a teacher or a doctor or a musician. Meanwhile, the representatives live in Washington, where they vote sometimes several times a week on different things. Representatives make up the legislative branch of the federal government in the U.S., and it's also called Congress. There are two groups in Congress: the Senate, which includes 100 representatives called senators, and the House of Representatives, which includes 435 representatives. The representatives in the House of Representatives are just called representatives. So we have senators and representatives. For the rest of today's lesson, we're going to focus on the House of Representatives. Each state in the U.S. receives a different number of representatives in the House, and it's based on the state's total population. So states that have a lot of people, like New York, get more representatives than a state with few people, like Wyoming. Even though the House of Representatives is related to states, it has power at the federal level, which means that its decisions affect people in every state. Each representative in the House represents about 700,000 people, and we call those people the representatives' constituents. We call those representatives representatives because they are supposed to vote the way that their constituents would vote if the constituents were in Washington voting all the time. But they're not, so the representatives vote for them. If a representative votes in a way that constituents don't like or disagree with, the constituents can, after a certain number of years, vote to elect someone else who they think will do a better job representing them. In other words, who will do a better job voting the way that they want. Now let's look at where geography comes in. Electoral geography is the division of a country into voting districts. Within a district, people vote for one representative, and the representative that wins that district represents all the people that live in the district. So each district has about 700,000 people living in it, and those 700,000 people have one representative in the House of Representatives. We call these districts electoral districts, We also call them congressional districts. You can use either term. An electoral district is a unit of territory in which residents elect their representative. Small states might have just one district. Large states that have a lot of people have many districts, and the largest state with the most people, California, has 53 districts. Here's a map of New York's electoral districts. There are 27 of them. As you can see, some districts are much larger in land area than others. For example, New York's 21st district, which is up here in the top right corner of the state. It's huge. It covers hundreds of miles and several counties. But if you look down here, the districts in New York City are so small that they have to be magnified on this inset map over here. Why are the districts such different sizes? The reason is because they all have to have equal population, 700,000 constituents, but population densities are different in different parts of the state. In a rural area like the 21st district, 700,000 people are spread out over a lot of land, while in dense urban areas like New York City, 700,000 people will fill up just a single neighborhood or two, maybe or three. Take a look at the name of this district. Electoral districts are written in a confusing way. They use the initials of the state, then a dash, and then the number of the district. But we don't say this district as NY9. Instead, it's read New York's 9th District. New York's 9th District. And currently, the representative of New York's 9th District is Yvette Clarke. Here's another electoral district in Pennsylvania. Can you figure out how to say the name of this district? Remember, my district down here is called New York's 9th District. So this one in Pennsylvania is called Pennsylvania's 8th District. And this one is called, if you said Texas's 16th District, you were correct. Here's your next term. Redistricting, also called reapportionment. Redistricting is the process of changing the borders of electoral districts so that they maintain equal population. And this is necessary because the population of districts changes over time as people move in or out of it. Redistricting happens every 10 years, following the completion of the census. The census is used to determine the population of each district and see whether it has gained or lost constituents. After the census information is published, whichever political party happens to hold more seats in state Congress in that year gets to control the redistricting process. Let me explain. In 2020, the year of the last census, Democrats happened to hold more seats in the New York State Legislature. So the Democrats got to decide how the electoral districts in New York State would be redrawn. The next census and redistricting will take place in 2030. Okay, here's your final term, gerrymandering. Gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is redistricting in a way that gives one party an electoral advantage. In other words, the borders of the district are drawn in such a way that the representative of one party is more likely to win than a representative from the other party. So, whichever party gets to do the redistricting can have an advantage if they do gerrymandering. In class, you'll look more at how gerrymandering works. Now it's time to review the objectives, and if you don't know the answer to any of them, rewind the video and look again. I will see you in class. Bye, students.